Now I'm really excited to have one more person to reach out ahead of time to do this, Jonas Di Gregorio. And he's going to tell about an important trip to him. At the end, we're going to show a trailer of what it inspired. So give him a round of applause.
Hello everybody. First of all, I would like to thank MAPS and Symposia for this beautiful event. I would like to start sharing the story of my first ayahuasca experience, how it changed my life, and how it helped me to envision the Cognitive Freedom Alliance and the idea of a documentary with the title Reschedule Psychedelics. So I had the opportunity to have my first ayahuasca experience in Portugal in 2008. I was there as a volunteer working with the Kosmicare Project, which is a psychedelic harm reduction service provided by the festival, similar to Zendo. And when I was there, I got to know by a friend that the day after the end of the festival, there was gonna take place a ceremony with ayahuasca in a teepee. And this teepee was just in front of the Kosmicare Dome where I was working. So I decided to participate. And that night I had a very beautiful healing experience. I had other experience with psychedelics before, but that one was very special for me. During that night I had a very healing perception, and I could forgive many trauma of my childhood, in particular about the relation with my father. And I received many teachings, many information. The day after I felt blissful, very peaceful, and very grateful just for the possibility to be alive. I remember the day I also wrote a message to my father, and I wrote to him, "I love you." And that was the first time it happened. And then after this experience I went back to Italy, and I wanted to have more experience with ayahuasca, so I got in touch with the Santo Daime. And I wrote a message to them, and they told me that the next ceremonies they were gonna host were in occasion of the European meeting of the Santo Daime churches in Assisi in Italy. And so I decided to participate. And I had a beautiful experience with the Santo Daime. It was a ceremony with 300 people, and there were so many musicians. It was amazing. And that night it was another step of this healing process. So after this second experience with ayahuasca, I went to Brazil several times to experience more, and I had the chance to participate in other ceremonies in Italy and Europe. And to make a long story short, I ended up after a few years organizing and hosting ayahuasca ceremonies in my house. And then at one point I went to the World Ayahuasca Conference in Ibiza, and I gave a presentation with the title Psychedelics and Drug Policy. At the end of the presentation I got a question from the public, and somebody was asking, "What's your vision for the future? What's your vision for the future of psychedelics and drug policy reform?" And I replied saying, expressing my sympathy and my agreement with the vision of Rick Doblin, the idea of a future where there are psychedelic clinics and eventually the possibility to get a license, like the driving license, for using psychedelics by our own. And then I said that also it would be nice to have an organization where there are people who want to work in this direction to change the policy. And so I'm very happy to be here at Psychedelic Science 2017, 3 years after that conference, presenting as no-profit exhibitor here in the marketplace the Cognitive Freedom Alliance and the project of the Reschedule Psychedelics campaign. So one of the projects of this campaign is to make a documentary, and I'm happy now to present a teaser, which is just 1 minute long, and it's an interview I had with Claudio Naranjo 2 years ago. So Lex, if you can put the teaser, thank you.
Reschedule Psychedelics.
Se bañan las estrellitas. When I wrote the ayahuasca book, I felt it's time now that climate is changing, it's time to call for an international school for training people to use psychedelics, to amass, to collect the knowledge of shamans, with knowledge of therapists, knowledge of those people who have been brave enough to keep doing things in spite of it being hidden. The time to train people and to create a channel, because the only problem of psychedelics is misuse, and this problem arises from not having an accepted channel. There's nowhere to go, and people can't be prevented from wanting it, because they smell it, they feel, they get the sense of how important it is from the oral testimonies. So the solution of the problem is at hand. With a little bit more openness, with a little permissiveness, a legal channel should be established.
En tus ojos de agua infinita se bañan las estrellitas, mamá.
Thank you. So, I would like to conclude with a quote. It's from an article with the title, "It is the time for a cognitive liberty social movement." If, as I believe, a nascent cognitive liberty social movement is emerging in an era of ripening social condition, there is much we can do to precipitate it. And so what I think is that what we can do, all of us, is to tell our stories, to share the meaning, the value that the psychedelic experience have for us, with our friends, with our families, with our communities. And this is exactly what Symposia is promoting, and this is beautiful. I had the opportunity to participate in an event organized by Symposia in San Francisco last year, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see people from the public coming and sharing the story. And so, yeah, once again, thank you very much, Symposia. Thank you, MAPS, for this conference. Thank you.
Reschedule Psychedelics, coming soon. And actually, our next speaker is from another movie coming soon, Emmanuel Spherios, and he is director of the upcoming MDMA the movie, and for this community, I think a hero as one of the founders of Dance Safe. The founder of Dance Safe. Give a round of applause for Emmanuel.
Hi everyone. So yes, I'm producing MDMA the movie, and when it does come out, I'm going to tell my story of MDMA in it, how it helped me forgive my father and all that. But today I want to tell you my LSD story that I've told a lot of people, but I've never actually told in public before. You see, LSD was the first drug I ever did, except alcohol, even before I smoked pot. And how I found it was very interesting. I was homeless when I was 14. I left home from abuse that was going on in my household, and I was eating in soup lines, and I hated myself, and I didn't believe in love, and I wore that as a badge. I would tell people, love is bullshit, I don't believe in it. But I was smart, and I started reading existentialist philosophy in the library when I was 13. And somehow through existentialism, I got into Eastern religion, and I came across what I called the 60s guru guys, Ginsberg, Leary, Huxley, etc. And they talked about this drug LSD that could give you insights. And so I was like, I want to gain insights, and I went searching out LSD. It took me 6 months to find it. And I did everything right. I went out to nature with some friends, you know, I followed the rules. But I had a girlfriend at the time, and I wouldn't tell her I loved her because I didn't believe in love. And I didn't invite her to come on this journey with me. I just picked a couple of my philosophy friends, intellectual friends, you know. So we go out, about 45 minutes out of, this is in Florida. And of course, when we start feeling it, it's not intellectual at all, right? It's this amazing, you know, LSD, right? And suddenly I get this overwhelming feeling that I have to go see Laura. I have this desperation, but I'm tripping balls, and I'm not even old enough to drive. I don't have a driver's license yet. But my friend must have seen the desperation. I mean, I was like, you don't understand, I have to see her right now. I was able to get him to give me the keys to his car. Now, as the harm reduction guy here, never drive on LSD, okay? But I was only 15 years old at the time and I did it, so I apologize. But anyway, I drive across town. Laura is on her porch with her suitcases packed. Her older sister, who lives in North Carolina, was on her way to pick her up, and she was moving to North Carolina. She was leaving me because I wouldn't tell her that I loved her, and I didn't even invite her to go do this drug, and she was pissed. I break down and I start crying, and I tell her I love her, and I'm sobbing. I can't remember the last time I had told anyone that I loved them. It might have been when I was 7 when some stuff happened, but I couldn't know. And literally 2 minutes later, her sister drives up, and she waves her sister on. I'm sobbing in her arms on the porch, crying, and she waves her sister on. And then after the obligatory moment of silence, she says to me, "Whatever that drug was you just did, I want to do it." And we trip maybe 30 times over the next 2 years, and we have a great relationship, and I went on to college, and we're still friends today on Facebook. But I always think, if I had gotten there 2 minutes late, she wouldn't have been there. I would have been tripping, and I don't know how my life would be right now. I credit LSD with giving me love back into my life again. Yeah. But I'm not putting this in my movie on MDMA because I think it would just confuse things. I'm just going to tell my MDMA story then. Thank you, everyone.